Welcome to my sewing journey. Today I am working on an owl pillow, and this was a lot of fun to do. Now, what I first did was drafted a pattern, and in the summertime we hear a lot of owls, so I thought an owl pillow would be really cute. So I made like a big oval because I thought that would be like an owl shape. Then next, I started on the face because before you sew it together, you really want to do the face first. If you made the mistake of sewing it together and want to put the face on afterwards, I'd recommend gluing first and then stitching down by hand if you wanted it stitched. But I chose to do it before I sewed the back on. So what I did was I made 2 circles for the eyes, for the background color of the eyes in the off-white, and then 2 circles in dark green, and then 2 smaller circles in black. And that was the basic for his eye. Then I decided it needed something to define the eyes, or just to make it look more like an owl. So I made this sort of like oval shape and put that underneath the eye, and did that on both sides. I sewed down the black first, then the white, then the green, then the black. Next, I found some orange fabric, and I made a triangle for his beak, and I put it back on there, sewing it right sides together, then turning it to the right side and sewing it on. Then with the wings were a lot of fun. When I drafted them, I started making a triangle and then added a circle on the bottom, and then I put a backing on it. So the wing actually kind of lifts up a little bit. I thought that would be a lot of fun. I sewed it right sides facing together, leaving a small opening to turn to the right side, but before I did that, I clipped in my little snips in around the circle so it would lay flatter. Then I turned it to the right side, and then I started sewing it onto my project. I top stitched it first and then sewed it onto the project. Top stitching is just this little stitching right here, so it would all kind of match, and it wouldn't be like he's sewed here but he's not sewed here. And I just thought that would be cuter to have that up like that. Next was the other wing. The other wing was just a half circle. Now with this one, same thing of having a backing fabric. And what I did was sewing right sides facing together, leaving that little small gap to open up and turn to the right side. And before I did that, I did the little snips in. If you go too far and you accidentally snip your seam, just sew it back. You don't have to, it's not completely ruined. Just sew that little section back. It'll be fine. And then what I did next was turned it to the right side and top stitched all the way around. And then I sewed just a small section onto the project, because as you can see, I can go all the way up with the owl wing. And I laid the other part of the wing right up into the seam allowance. Then I put the back on, right sides facing together. I left the bottom open. So I sewed all the way around, and then I did the same thing with the clipping the stitches here so that it would lay flatter. And I left the whole entire bottom open. So I haven't put the polyfill in him yet. I thought I would do that afterwards. And then what I'll do after I put the polyfill in, because sometimes these projects, they're easier to show when they don't have the stuffing in them, I will fold these edges in and then sew straight across. But I hope you like this idea. Cute for summer. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing, and happy sewing.